it is hard not to feel like you're a little bit of a lemming if you buy into the AI stuff. But I will say that the use cases we're seeing are really pretty incredible.
Totally.
I didn't feel this way with the last couple of waves. Like the whole Web3 thing never totally made sense. And crypto always felt a little bit speculative, like kind of unsure. But the AI thing seems like it's going to deliver real value. And I'm seeing like already 3 major enterprise use cases. Number one is just auto summaries, like being able to summarize very quickly 1,000 articles or a meeting, spitting out a summary of what just happened in a meeting. And it could break it down between a recap and action items. It just does all the work for you. The second thing is like in-app customer service, kind of like a co-pilot, but there's no reason to contact customer support anymore because you can just ask the AI inside the app. And like, why would you ever contact customer support?
And the AI will get it right, and they'll be faster, right? That's something like where it's so narrow, Sachs. Yeah, they'll get it right.
It's like a power user who's sitting next to you, it's your co-pilot, and is making you much more effective in the app. And then the third thing we're already seeing is autocomplete for everything. I mean, it is like bonkers how you get like little type head suggestions in email, but it's like 2 or 3 words. The AI is going to be able to do type ahead for any content type, paragraphs at a time, to-do lists, tables. It's
bonkers. You see it in Google. You see it in Google Sheets now. Like if you type, equal sum, it's like, oh, here's what the 7 most likely things to happen next are. In which case, it's kind of like you use the chess.com app. I don't know if you've used it with like the heads up display where it's showing you the different moves and this is a book move versus this is not a book move. Go ahead.
Let me make a prediction. All of the things that you guys said, I think are incredible consumer surplus business opportunities, which means that the ultimate winner is us. And we're going to become, as you said,
or the VC?
The consumer. No, the consumer.
Got it.
Incredibly productive and more leveraged in how we spend our time, which will allow us to do all kinds of other interesting things with all the time that we save. That, I think, is almost now a certainty. The problem with consumer surplus businesses is oftentimes there is no money made in the funding of them. And really, where the money is made is in enabling it. So, for example, so far, what I would say is there's very little money that has been made in AI. There's been an enormous amount of money that's been made by NVIDIA. And the reason is because they are the pick and shovel provider into the industry. And so that's an example. AMD, I think, can also benefit. So the silicon players seem pretty obvious here. Maybe some of the cloud players, the problem is the cloud players are trapped inside of other big companies with many other business models. But I just want to put out there that I think, David, you're right that the consumer 100% wins. But economically, it's not clear to me that there is a winner that is venture fundable.
Well,
hold on a second.
Yeah.
The Levi Strausses of the world, right, in the gold rush, the people that made the picks and shovels and the jeans are sure to make money.
Yeah.
And the people that pan for gold is much more speculative and harder to see right now.
Yeah, a couple of points on that. So, I think you have a point that. So, I mentioned 3 use cases that I think are killer use cases that we're already seeing demos of today. And when you look at them, you're like, okay, this has real applicability. I mean, the AI is going to it's going to powerfully change our work lives. I'm just focused on enterprise. So now I don't know who benefits economically from that. That functionality that I mentioned, I think is likely to be pretty commoditized pretty soon, but it's going to be incorporated into lots of different apps in ways that are hard to predict right now. I think that this AI revolution is going to do for SaaS what mobile did for, a lot of the Web 1.0 companies, where like for a lot of these Web 1 companies, they were either disrupted by mobile or they were turbocharged by mobile. So you think about Facebook, it successfully made the transition and mobile made its business so much better because people are just using it a lot more on their mobile devices. There were a lot of other businesses that just kind of fell by the wayside because they just couldn't make the adaptation from desktop to mobile computing. I think AI is going to be like that for SaaS, where there's going to be a lot of SaaS products that are just absolutely turbocharged. I think
you're 100% right. I think you're 100% right.
If you can incorporate the AI into your SaaS product, put in a co-pilot, put in autocomplete and all sorts of other forms of value that we're just scratching the surface of, you're going to be able to deliver so much more business value. But if you're not able to do that and somebody else can, then you're going to get disrupted.
Look at some of these enterprise spaces, like take something like APM, right? Like application performance management. That's an entire ecosystem of enterprise companies. It's probably 10, 15, $20 billion of collective market cap. And I'm just going to say something not to offend anybody, but like that can mostly be automated by AI. Those are simple heuristics that can be embedded in a way that's completely novel, where this code library just gets dropped in and all of this stuff happens relatively automagically now. So there are all kinds of other sectors, to your point, that get crushed. Then the question is, who provides that layer now for free in their existing SaaS toolkit or their product that now all of a sudden captures more value as a result? And they can sell it for pennies because it's incremental to them in terms of their margin and revenue.
I think you're right. Hardware wins. I think cloud wins big, because if you keep adding to these, models, and one's 10, 20% better, people are going to be willing to pay for that. But then when you think about consumers, whether they're enterprise or actual consumers, I believe, Chamath, this stuff is going to provide so much value that people are going to take their wallets out and be more than willing to spend for it. It's more valuable than Netflix subscription.
I disagree.
Okay, I'm going to take the other side of it. Imagine you take your videos of you learning to ski and you put it into an AI coach, and it's like, here's how to, and it just draws on it. Here's how to be a better skier. This is going to blow people's minds, and you'll be more than willing to spend $25 a month on that.
I disagree with that. And the reason is because we've spent now 2 decades, and that's a lot of muscle memory to unwind, of people that have been consistently given more for less. And I think that we shouldn't underestimate the expectations we've all collectively created by building software tools that have that inherent deflationary aspect to them. And so I just think that it's a very high bar. I still think there are subscription services to be built. I don't disagree with you there, Jason. I just think that in general, though, the de facto business model that we've created in tech is more for less. And we've used technology to give us operating leverage to create margin structures that other companies couldn't copy. And I think that AI accelerates that, not changes it.
I think it's going to be the opposite. If you look at Netflix, if you look at Disney, they've been raising prices, providing more value. I think that this is going to provide so much value that the incremental $10 a month, $5 a month per employee is going to pay off so much that this could be, if Slack or like some presentation software, there are a lot of people who are making PowerPoint, AI PowerPoints where it makes you a new deck, or a Figma with AI. These things are going to be so powerful. People are like, it's totally worth an extra $100 a month because I can get rid of another employee. This one employee can now do the work of 3. Fuck it, man. I'll give you $1,000 a month if you make a really good A model.
If you just added the LTV of that company,
the software company is going to make more money.
I'm just saying it's deflationary. That's deflationary.
Okay, it's deflationary on the entire economy, but that software company that figures out how you can fire 2 accountants and keep one and make them as good as, 3.
Yeah,
you're company's going to be able to charge more for the software.
Right, you're selling consumer surplus.
Okay, I think we're in agreement. Freeberg, sold into silence. You want to chime in on this? You still with us? Sold into silence.
All technology drives prices down.
Well, technology is about doing more with less, right? It's about doing more with less, and the AI helps you do so much more with the same amount of time or less time.
I think your whole point about Disney and Netflix, et cetera, is because they aren't, innovating on either side. And so in order to drive earnings growth, they're having to raise prices. But that doesn't speak to the benefit of technology.
They're innovating massively. They're adding massive features to their products and massive new shows. I mean, I think there's pricing power in this AI thing. That's just my belief. I could be wrong.
It's not about leverage. Yeah. I mean, look, I think your point, my general rule of thumb on technology is the technology creator, the technology company should generally be capturing about 1/3 of the value that they deliver to the customer.
Unpack that. Why? Where do you come up with that number?
So, I mean, it's just kind of where...
And give an example.
Yeah. So let's say that you, as a food delivery company, you have to pay a human $10 to deliver food from you. Now, let's say I run a robot. My amortized cost of running that robot is $2. So it's $8 cheaper, or call it $1. So it's $9 cheaper. I should charge you $4, because $4 is super competitive with the existing market, and it'll keep me competitive against the other automation companies that are going to start to emerge. It's just kind of how market dynamics end up working out. If you charge too much, you're going to invite people to come in and compete with you. If your technology commoditizes, remember, all technology commoditizes over time.